6 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. About Eisenhower, it's heavy first on the extension, Irving Park to Addison Road. The stall in the left lane. It's 45 minutes from 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 21 minutes from 95th. I-57, not bad, but Bishoport, 32 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. It's traffic. I'm Jim Calamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cloudy, windy, colder, 36 today. 36 at O'Hare, 34 Lakefront. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we enjoy a good relationship with Judson University up there in Elgin. I've partnered with them on a number of events. It's a great school, great liberal arts school.
Beautiful campus. Up-and-coming sports programs, too.
And several years ago, they launched this World Leaders Forum, which I think was a great insight to bring, as the title would indicate, world leaders to Chicagoland to address Chicagoans on geopolitical matters. And I've been fortunate enough to MC a few of those events and attend others. That brought President George W. Bush in after he had left the White House, Condi Rice. I can't remember if that was it must have been before she got into Augusta, because I know I would have asked her if she'd host me at Augusta.
Oh, right.
If it would have been after she had gotten in. So I don't think.
And you are an excellent caddy. You could have asked her.
I would be happy to caddy for anything to get onto Augusta. Felipe Calderon, the former Mexican president, we had a debate I moderated between Howard Dean and Newt Gingrich. That was fun. And so it's always a good event, and they always bring in interesting people that that people have a lot of interest in hearing discuss some of these pressing matters of the day. And so we're pleased to be joined again by Dr. Gene Crume, who is the president of Judson University, and who has a little bit of an announcement for us this morning as to who they have secured for their next installment of the World Leaders Forum. Dr. Crume, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Thanks for having me back on the show. Sorry I couldn't be with you in person, but I'm headed to our Rockford campus today. But that doesn't mean we don't want to let you all be the first to help share our good news about our speaker coming up on October the 20th.
Yes, and I understand you got to always be closing. You got to be always recruiting out there. So no worries there. So October 20th. I mean, we've talked about the run that you've had with this World Leaders Forum, and they've been wildly successful events. So without further delay, do we have a drum roll? Do we have the drum roll here? Okay. All right.
No, here we go.
Got to have sound effects on a morning show.
We have to build up the anticipation. Justin, drum roll. And maybe we should have
silence before the drum roll.
Nothing builds anticipation like silence.
That's exactly right. Okay, all right. We're all breathlessly waiting. Go ahead, Dr. Gene Crume.
We are pleased to announce that the World Leaders Forum will take place on October the 20th this fall, and our guest speaker will be General David Petraeus.
Ooh. Now, does he still wear an ankle bracelet? Oh, no, no, come on.
Maybe I'll ask him if he wants to go for a 5-mile run before he speaks.
We're going to be barred from the event with those kind of questions. So the selection of General Petraeus, explain the thinking.
Yeah, this continues a 3-year run that we've been doing in terms of wanting individuals who can speak meaningfully into both American and global affairs, but do so in a way that actually promotes conversation and dialogue versus just sort of, rancor and just outright partisanship. So 2 years ago, as you mentioned, Dan, we had Newt Gingrich and Howard Dean. Last year, we had Caroline Kennedy being interviewed by conservative talk show host Eric Metaxas.
Right.
And General Petraeus, of all the former military commanders, probably has been in a place of bipartisanship where he still is asked for his opinion by people on the progressive side as well as on the conservative side. In fact, he was appointed by Obama to be the director of the CIA, and just recently, as 2016, President Trump had him in consideration for Secretary of State.
Yeah, that's right.
So right before the election, we couldn't think of a better voice to speak not only into global political, social affairs, but also what the next president, whether it be President Trump reelected or a Democratic candidate, will encounter. We think he would be a phenomenal voice. And continuing our tradition, I'm pretty confident we'll make people on the left mad and on the right mad with our choice, which means we probably got the right person.
Yeah, I know. I think that is a good choice. And like, we made the obvious jokes about him, and we're all fallen men and women. So
We're all broken. We all make mistakes.
he made some big ones, and he paid the price for them. But nobody disputes his bona fides and his intellect, frankly. And he was the architect of the surge in Iraq. As you mentioned, a former CIA director. He's had some moments, including recently, where he's defended President Trump, and there have been other moments where there are disagreements on policy. But no, I think that is an interesting choice. And the thing I like about your forum, and the speakers that you bring is it is elevating the discourse, and it is substantive in nature. And obviously, Petraeus clears those hurdles comfortably.
He does, and when you make jokes about him, just don't challenge him to a push-up, because you may famously remember he was shot in the chest by accidental fire in a practice situation. I believe this is in the 90s, and he was discharged from the hospital because he did 50 push-ups just several days after he was shot in the chest. So he seems like a pretty tough dude.
Yeah,
He's a tough guy.
Yeah, we make jokes about him from a safe distance here in our studio.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the way we do it.
And who's going to be the moderator? Does he come? I'm sorry, I've never been to one of the World Leaders Forum, but is it a Q&A type? Do the students get involved? Can they ask questions?
It is Q&A. We will have the moderator will be Judson alumnus Mark Vargas. Mark actually served as a civilian appointee during the war in Iraq. He worked for the Department of Defense, built a personal relationship with General Petraeus, and that's one of the reasons we were successful in recruiting him to come speak. He doesn't do a lot of public speaking venues like this. He has a nominal social media presence, but we're excited that Mark will be a part of that, and we'll have a couple other guests that will participate in that process. And yes, we would love to get a couple questions from the audience, because we think that engagement often becomes some of the most compelling elements of the program, like when Condoleezza Rice was on campus. One of our students actually at the time was Ukrainian, and that was right at the height of Russia invading Ukraine and the tension there. And he asked a pointed question of Secretary Rice about, is my country going to be a new battleground for Russia and the United States? And that was a heavy moment during that event.
Do you remember what her answer was? I know it was years ago.
Her answer, her answer was she did not believe so. She felt like diplomacy would follow, but she did feel like, she basically predicted everything that happened. That's the short answer. She systematically pretty much laid out what occurred after that point.
And is this going to be, give us the particulars, because I know in the past we've had sometimes when you've done these events, you've had a downtown event as well as an event out at the college, at the university. What are the particulars here? How can people get more information? How can they get involved? How can they buy tickets? How can they send their kids to Judson University? How can they donate to your endowment? How can they do all those
Dan,
things?
Breathe.
Thank you, Dan. There's no better segue or lead in with that.
Right.
Tickets are on sale today. The event will take place. We've developed an amazing partnership with our friends in Schaumburg, and it'll be at the Schaumburg Renaissance and Convention Center, which is a beautiful venue. And it will be on October 20th at 7 o'clock in the evening. You can go to judsonu.edu/WLF, and the tickets will be available there. You can also Google World Leaders Forum Eventbrite, and the ticket page should pop up there as well. And we have corporate sponsorships that are doing very, very well. We have a special VIP reception that takes place ahead of time. We have tickets available for that. We also have reserve seating. There's a special ticket price for that to be in the first several rows, and then the general admission ticket, which is $75.
And pass this along to the general too. After the speech, if he wants to meet me over at that the cigar joint in the Woodfield Mall there, I'm happy to share a leaf by Oscar with him if he just wants to unwind after the speech.
We will mention that to him. We hope that Amy and you will be there, so you can share that message with him yourself. That'd be fantastic. And you were right, Dan. Right after Condoleezza Rice visited with us is when she was then selected as a member at Augusta, because I would have asked the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been shameless. I would have asked publicly to really put her on the spot.
Gosh.
Because that's how much I want to play.
Boundaries, man.
I want to play Augusta. Any chance I get, anybody who's nice to me who's an Augusta member for 5 seconds, I'm going to ask them. All right. Okay, so October 20th, General David Petraeus, World Leaders Forum, Judson University at the Schaumburg Renaissance, and that website one more time, Dr. Crume.
judsonu.edu/WLF.
Dr. Gene Crume, president at Judson University, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for making us your venue to announce this great event coming up on October 20th, and, of course, continued success at the university.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks, Amy. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yep, sure will. And thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show. More Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's